Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Get lined up, get lined up. Hey, let's go, back down, let's go. Let's go, let's go, get inside, get inside.
Love, faith, discipline, work, toughness.
Lock in, hurry up, hurry up.
The pillars of our brotherhood.
Hey, 20 right, 20 right, 20 right, 20 right.
Nothing's changed.
Find the ball, find the ball, find the ball.
Championship football.
Be us!
Nothing's changed.
Nice, on 3, 1, 2, 3. Nice.
It's the beginning of a new era.
Rush the field off. Do it now, do it now.
Nothing's changed.
Hustle back.
Nothing has changed. Put your fours in the air. Be us. You are a Knight. This is Knight Nation. We are one.
Welcome everyone to KnightCast, an inside look at LCA football, and do we have an exciting show for you. Jay Miller here alongside of my co-host Amy Kane. Be sure to hit like, retweet, share, whatever it is you need to do. Let everybody know that our live show is on right now. Every week we drop a new episode on all of our social media channels, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Be sure you subscribe so that you don't miss a thing.
I tell you what, at the game Friday night, Champions Row, I could not believe the number of people that kept coming up that are watching it, loving the show, and more importantly, want me to make fun of you more.
Oh, Lord. Hey,
My
you
turn.
realize every time you make fun of me, it's cost you another $100 Visa card.
You know what? It is so worth it.
Well, there you go.
It is so
I'm doing it for
worth
you
it.
guys. I'm letting her for you guys.
So worth it, so worth it. All right, tonight, our featured guest segment, you're going to meet Superintendent of the LCA, Mr. Devin Launche, and we have the updated numbers for, you guessed it, Juwan Johnson. I tell you, I feel like when we call the highlights, we should just have a joystick out here and play video games because that's what he looks like. The guy is absolutely incredible. We're going to have more on the Juwan Watch coming up in just a few minutes.
Plus, tonight, we usually have fan favorite. Tonight, Amy, it's fan favorites. Yes, that's right, plural. Big news tonight later on in the show. And finally, we have a special segment we're calling Big Man on Campus. We're going to meet the starting offensive line, of the LCA Knights. Now, Amy, I really have a love for these guys. You know, I don't know if you know this, but I played a little semi-pro back in the day.
What position?
O-line,
Yeah, you got the
right
face of an
tackle.
offensive
Matter of fact,
lineman. I got you.
I knew I would
You
have
knew
some
I was going
kickback.
there.
So, Amy, I brought with me some pictures of
What?
back in the day, number 74, playing for the Lafayette Hurricanes. How about that?
Look
there
at
I
that.
am. O-line, offensive right tackle.
That's just
Anyway,
brilliant.
we got some great things happening tonight on our episode. Remember, each week we're giving out some LCA merch, some $25 gift cards to Academy, and we do that because of our wonderful sponsors. And tonight, once again, Paul Mancuso with Vital Integrators. For all of your security, IT, video, audio needs, contact Paul with Vital Integrators.
All right, Jay, I'm going right to it. Let's get busy and start talking about what happened in last week's game. Now, the Knights had been on the road the first 2 weeks, but instead they were at home. It was the home opener, and who comes into town? The Jesuit Blue Jays. Now, why is this important? Because last season, in that game, Jesuit actually had a 14-point lead that the Knights had to rally back to win the game. What was it going to look like? Was it going to be anywhere near that 28-25 victory that we saw last year? Well, let's just say that was not the case this past Friday night. Let's go to the highlights. We're going to prove it. The Blue Jays' second possession of the game is where we're going to pick this one up, and they decide that they're going to go for it on 4th down to extend their drive, but Ty Lee and Chris Hilaire, other plans. After a measurement, the Knights are going to get the turnover on downs. On the very next play, as soon as we get the chains out, we move to what happens when Juwan gets the ball in his hands. He's going to take it to the house. 76 yards. He outruns the defense. Knights are going to take an early 7-0 lead. This was only the beginning for number 7. After the Blue Jays are going to go 3 and out on 4th down, it's going to be a high snap right over the punter's head. The Knights record the safety, and the score is now 9-0 in the first. You just had a feeling this was about to start into a runaway. Well, it worked the last time for the Knights. Come on, let's do it again. How about Juwan? 74 yards, on one play, 78 yards on this one. 74 and then a 78-yard touchdown. Yeah, 2 back-to-back take it to the house. Night train rolling and offense, 16-0 in the first quarter. Let's go on to the second quarter, and Juwan, he's going to do it yet again. This time, it's going to be the quarterback draw. Take a look at this. Juwan, he's already found the end zone twice. Remember that, just like they drew it up in practice, right up the middle. And once he turns on the Jets, nobody's catching him. That brings us to the half. The Knights up 23-10.
In the second half, the Knights would get the ball first. And if Juwan and company were going 50 miles an hour in the first, they came out 100 miles an hour in the second. On their very first possession of the half, Juwan, with the old pump fake, goes 44 yards for his 4th rushing touchdown on the night. Check out the downfield block by number 2, Trey Grogan. Unbelievable. And the score is now 30-10. After the Knights defense forced a 3 and out, Knights are first and goal from the 7. Juwan does it again. No, he doesn't. He flips it to birthday boy, number 1, TJ Marcel. Not only does he fake out the entire defense, he faked out the cameraman too. The night train is rolling, 37-10. We're still in the third quarter. Now, it's 4th down. Blue Jays in punt formation, and they're going to go for it. But wait, it's a fake. Blue Jays looking to pick up the first down, but here comes Superman. DJ Hawkins come flying out of nowhere, makes the hit, and the Knights take over from there on the very next play. Juwan, he did it on the ground. Now he does it through the air from 15 yards out. Throws a dime to Trey Grogan in the corner of the end zone. It's 44-10. Grogan, listen to this, Amy. 6 receptions on the year, 4 recorded touchdowns.
Unreal.
Unbelievable. I want to show you something about this play real quick, Amy. So watch after he scores. See if we can back the tape up a little bit. As he's scoring, there's a guy, you can see him right there. He's on his phone. He's just on his phone the whole time. He's probably saying to his friend, you're not going to believe it, Grogan again in the end zone. You know, Amy, when I was a teenager, I had a gaming system. You made mention of it a while ago. It was called a Nintendo, and one of the most popular games on Nintendo back in the 90s was Tecmo Bowl, right? And you just kind of made all these crazy moves, and the quarterback ran around, and it looked something like this. Here's Juwan. Here's Juwan, back to pass, runs right, runs left, runs up the middle. Watch this. Makes a move, sets up a blocker. It's Miles Heels that he sets up, pushes him a little. Juwan Johnson, 35 yards on a busted play. I'm talking 1990 Tecmo Bowl. And watch Miles Heels just, bam, blows the defender up. And on the very next play, Calvin Parker says, Juwan, you got some. TJ, you got yours. Grogan, you got one. This one is mine. All mine. Parker would not be denied. Britt Miller, the right guard, pulling on number 78, plowing over the defense. Calvin Parker in. They need oxygen. I needed some oxygen. Your final score, LCA 51, Jesuit Blue Jays 18. With that win, the Knights go to 3-0 on the season. The Knights are currently ranked number 1 in Division II, according to GoPreps.com. Number 1 by Sportsline, number 1 by Max Prep, number 1 by Louisiana Sports Writers, and Amy, they moved up 1 spot in the overall state rankings to number 3. From number 4 to number 3, they jumped Edna Carr, and so all classes rank number 3 in the state.
Well, and not surprising. I mean, when you beat a perennial powerhouse like Jesuit the way that they did, they're showing that they have got serious moxie this season. So after the game, Reagan Miller, who was very excited at the fact that we actually talked about his new hairdo and the sans mullet, decided to go on the field after the game. He was able to catch up with head coach Hunter Landry on his first win at Knight Field. Reagan, what do you have to say?
I'm here with Coach Hunter Landry. Congrats on the win. How does it feel to be back at home? First home game as a head coach.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. We had a good crowd out here. You know, the kids were able to knock off some rust and kind of put on a show for the home crowd.
I know I ask you about him every week, but I got to ask you again. Juwan Johnson tonight accounts for 7 touchdowns. What are your thoughts on his performance?
Yeah, you know, he gets all the attention, but I'm going to give a quick shout out to the offensive line. They did a tremendous job.
Absolutely.
Also, Trey Grogan, Brennan Walker, TJ Marzell, Braden Allen, Carlos O'Brien, Jalen Noel, Calvin Parker. A lot of guys go into his success that go unnoticed, but they're so unselfish, man. They don't care who gets the credit.
Absolutely. We had a home game this week. Now next week I think we're going our furthest game of the season. It's all the way up to Ruston. What's the message going into our furthest game yet?
Yeah, I just told the kids, man, it's another game. You know, it's a big game because it's our next game. You know, don't make it any bigger than it needs to be. You know, we're gonna go in. Hopefully, we can have a great week of preparation Monday through Thursday, and then come out Friday, give our best effort, and see where we stand at the end of the game.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Yes, sir.
All right, now Juwan Johnson has already accounted for 13 touchdowns during the first 2 games. Let me repeat that statistic. 13 touchdowns in the first 2 games. You have 5A powerhouse Jesuit that comes in. You think somewhere in there's going to be a slowdown. Absolutely not. If you were counting as we went through the highlights, then you saw Juwan had another 7 touchdowns on Friday night. What does that bring him to? 20 touchdowns just this season. 20 touchdowns. Number 4 on the ground, 3 through the air. Well, Reagan caught up with number 7, and hey, check out the bling.
I'm here with quarterback Juwan Johnson. Congrats on the win tonight, man. How did it feel being back at home?
It felt great. It felt great. Being home for the first game ever at the home, like for my senior year, it's just great, honestly.
Number 7 with 7 touchdowns tonight, over 450 yards. What was some of the schemes that y'all came into? Did you see what you thought you were going to see when you got on the field tonight?
Yes, sir. Definitely they ran cover 4 a lot. Unfortunately, we couldn't pass the ball as much as we wanted to, but we ran the ball and we did a few things going against their defense, so it worked.
Okay, going into next week, I'm going to look forward for next week. Right. We're going on the furthest drive that we have yet. Right. Is that something you're comfortable with? Is that something that doesn't bother you a lot? Or what are your thoughts on the far drive next week?
I honestly feel like we play better away games, honestly. It showed last year. We're going to see if it showed this year.
So, it shows so far the first 2 games of the season. Congrats on the win, 7.
Appreciate it.
What a night for number 7. Juwan finishes the game 14 of 19 passing, 188 yards, 3 touchdowns, 270 yards rushing, 4 touchdowns. He finishes the game with 458 total yards and 7 touchdowns. We're going to have the Juwan Watch coming up for you later in the show. And those figures, well, they're getting even more impressive. He is chasing that 25-year-old LHSAA record. And I'm telling you, he's going to break it.
Well, Amy, as you know, football is made up of 3 major components: offense, defense, and special teams. Not only did the offense put out a great performance Friday night, so did special teams. And for the 2nd week in a row, the defense put points on the board. 2 weeks ago in Woodlawn, it was a pick 6 by Hilaire. And this week, 2-point safety recorded by the defense. And then great punt. Sam Taylor punted only once, but he flipped the field. It was a 48-yard punt. And but the defense played spectacular all night long, holding really until we pulled the foot off the gas. The score was, they had scored 10 points, only 1 touchdown against the starters. And so Reagan caught up with 2 of our inside linebackers, Seth Alford, Sam Taylor, after the game. Between the 2 of them, they collected 22 tackles on the night. Here are their thoughts.
I am here with our 2 starting middle linebackers, Sam Taylor.
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Seth Alford. Tonight, you guys combined for 22 total tackles on the night. I think, Seth, you had 10. I think you had 12 total tackles tonight.
Yes, sir.
Well, going into it, is this something, did y'all know y'all were going to have a big game tonight with some of the offense, or was this?
Yes. All through the week, coach was talking about it, and we knew that all they ran a counter, they ran sweep, and they just ran quarterback keep, and then they pitched power. So as a middle linebacker, coach would tell us, hey, read. So like we kind of knew that we was going to get a lot of tackles, but we had to be there and we had to make the tackles. They wasn't just going to come to us, but we knew.
He mentioned that y'all had to be there for the tackles. How do y'all know which direction to go? How do y'all know how to be there to make the tackles and to finish the plays?
Well, as linebackers, we taught to read the lineman first, but they had a halfback, so he normally went wherever the ball went. So when he would go that way, we had to go that way. We ran into the play, we had to hit the lineman, and we did the job.
Congratulations on the win. Impressive night. Keep it up next week at Ruston. See you guys next week.
With that win, the Knights go to 3-0 on the season, and now will potentially face their biggest test of the season tomorrow night in Ruston, taking on the Ruston Bearcats up the road. It'll be a 4-hour drive tomorrow, and we'll have you know that KnightVisionTV will be in the house for that one for sure. Kickoff set for 7 p.m. Deondi and I will have the pregame at 6:45.
All right, I want to turn our attention to the Juwan watch, which is what we talked about, and here's what he says, or what he looks like after week 3, 457 yards. That brings his grand total, 10,850 yards that he has accounted for in his high school career. How many does he need to break the record of the great Brock Berlin out of Evangel? 2,800 yards. So what does that mean? That means that he's got 7 regular season games left before the playoffs. Assuming that we go to the state championship again, Juwan will then have an extra 4 playoff games, and that would mean he would need to average only 255 yards per game. Now, for an incredible athlete, going for an incredible achievement, to even be in this conversation, it's an absolute unbelievable feat. And let me say this, with what we have seen already, even against even the most stout defenses that exist in high school football in Louisiana, I don't know if there is an answer to how he plays. Like we saw in the highlights, busted plays are just opportunities for him to scamper off and pick up 40 and 50 yards.
Absolutely amazing, and we get a bird's eye view every Friday night to watch Juwan chase that 104-year record. Amazing. We will be watching. Remember, tomorrow night, you get a chance to watch him live on KnightVisionTV for the ones that don't get to make that 4-hour drive up north. And but we'll have that game covered for you on KnightVisionTV. Amy, as I mentioned earlier, have a lot of love for the O-line. Played a little O-line in high school and in semi-pro. We often just call them the bigs. And the reason we call them the bigs is because they're typically the biggest guys on the team. And they also make big things happen, as you heard Coach say earlier. Reagan got a chance to pull in the 5 starting O-line, and they began to break it down for us in a segment we're calling tonight, The Big Man on Campus.
I am here with the 5 big man on campus. This is the starting offensive line with LCA Knights football team. It is an honor to get to sit with you guys. A little intimidated, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I'm like trying to make myself big next to you guys. But I'm gonna pass the mic. Y'all go down the row. Introduce yourself. What grade are you in? What position do you play? How long have you been playing?
I'm Brett Miller, offensive lineman, right tackle, junior in high school, and I've been playing for 3 years.
Let's go.
I'm Miles Hill, senior. I play offensive guard, and I've been playing for 4 years.
Caden Rose, junior. I play offensive center and offensive guard.
There you go.
Caleb Campbell, left guard, been playing for 2 years.
Talk about.
My name is Trevor Jeffrey. I play left tackle, and I've been playing for 4 years.
There you go. All right, so that is the starting line for the LCA Knights football team. I'm going to ask you some questions. I'm curious y'all's opinion, and just to kind of get to know you guys a little bit. Who is the fastest offensive lineman on the team?
Definitely Trevor Jeffrey.
Trevor Jeffrey.
Britt Miller.
Britt Miller.
We know who it is.
Britt Miller.
I don't know.
So
We'll race at practice.
We'll race today. We'll race today. We'll race today. Y'all gonna pull something, y'all gonna be out for the season or something. Y'all trying to race like that. Okay, who's the slowest person on the offensive line?
Miles Hills.
It's definitely not me. I'm definitely faster than Keaton.
Miles.
I think it's Caleb. Caleb, I think is.
I think it's me.
It's probably me. That's pretty good. Just own it. All right. Let's say the play goes on. The play is finished. We look back. Oh no! I thought we had a good play, but now I just heard on the intercom there's a 15-yard personal foul penalty. Who is this penalty on? If it had to be on one of y'all.
The Jeffrey.
Trevor. Is that? Would you agree?
Yeah, I would say it's true. I would definitely say it's true. I'd probably push somebody after the play or something like that.
It's always a personal foul. It's always a personal foul. Always. He hits somebody after the play. He's talking too much or something.
And it's not even on purpose. I'm just playing football, and then it just happens.
Okay, we finished the play, had a good, first down play. Juwan Johnson ran for 999 yards. For holding on the play, who's the holding penalty probably on?
Britt Miller.
Oh, definitely. Just never catch it. That's my one tactic. If you get away from me, I'm holding you.
There's a joke that y'all are supposed to be the fat boys on campus, and y'all are like the not so fat boys on campus. But if we hosted a hot dog eating contest or just an eating contest, who's winning the eating contest?
I'm skinny, but I can still eat a lot, so I don't really know.
I don't eat a lot, so I don't.
Probably myself.
you could take that one.
Yeah.
Caleb, I don't know if I could eat half what they eat.
You eat light?
No.
You don't eat
It'd
light.
be me or Caden.
You okay? This is between these two heavy hitters right here?
I think I pull a close third.
You go at third?
Definitely last.
If we did wings, it would be a different story. Because I would beat all of y'all.
That's your spot right there is the wings. Okay, if we go into halftime, we had to make some major adjustments football history has never seen, and we got to put one of the starting offensive linemen here at this table as our new starting quarterback. Who are we putting at quarterback?
Me, definitely.
You think so?
Yes.
Be real, Miles.
High school.
You what?
I played quarterback up until high school.
A quarterback to right guard is a crazy transition.
I got big.
Miles is lying to y'all because I've been playing with Miles since we were 8 and he's always played offensive line.
Middle school, I played quarterback. I definitely
I think we should just forfeit the game.
We're
not even going to try.
I definitely played quarterback.
So all right, now you have to pick. Everybody pick one person.
He got footwork and he can like decently move. Pretty athletic.
I feel like he can scramble out the pocket.
He got that.
Okay.
He can still be a Juwan Johnson by running the ball.
Yeah.
Or handing it off at least.
Brent knows what to do. So.
You go to take Brent.
He said I got Caleb in the scramble every time.
Caleb, if you got to scramble outside the pocket, what is the success rate of your scramble?
It's very low.
Very low.
It's gonna be hard for them to take him down.
All right, we have to take one of you guys and project who out of you guys is going to the NFL. I'm sure all 5 of y'all will, but let's just say only one of y'all. If you had to guess one person who's going to be in the NFL one day, who are we picking?
Caleb, obviously.
Caleb.
I think Caleb because of his size.
So
Caleb definitely
You
can.
can't train size.
Yeah, Caleb.
Definitely Caleb.
I guess me.
What's funny is Caleb has, they haven't said much about Caleb, but when it comes to the NFL caliber person, now it's Caleb. And I feel like his name would have been used.
Because he still has some growing to do, but he's doing it.
Oh, he's doing it. So by the time he gets there, he's gonna be an animal. All right, awesome. Well, it was a pleasure to get to know you guys. Welcome to the show of KnightCast. We hope you had an amazing week. Congrats on all the success and all the success to come. Back to you guys.
Funny stuff right there. You gotta love those 5 guys.
But hey, and the way that the Saints O-line has looked, especially the way that they looked against Carolina, we'll take them.
We may need them.
Yeah,
Listen,
no joke,
here's
huh?
the good news on the O-line. They average about 6'5", 285, I believe, especially with Caleb coming in. And but I'm only personally responsible for feeding one of them. That is great breaking news here tonight, right?
All right. Now, we all enjoy Friday nights at Knight Field, no doubt about it. The smoke, the fireworks, the cheerleaders, Champions Road, the train horns. But what about Monday through Thursday? Well, in this week's Get to Know segment, we sat down with Superintendent Devin Launche, the one responsible for the continued success of Lafayette Christian Academy.
I am here with Mr. Launche, our superintendent here at LCA. So we're going to kind of get to know you a little bit. Welcome to KnightCast. Welcome to the show.
Great to be here.
How long have you been here at LCA on staff?
Oh, wow. On staff, this is going to be my 4th year.
Okay.
Of course, I was here during my kids' schooling.
Sure.
Which goes back to 18 plus years ago
Sure.
with my oldest daughter, Reagan, who's on your staff.
Yep.
But in that journey of being a parent, of course, started volunteering
Sure.
and coaching, and that thing just transitioned into higher coaching, varsity coaching, head coaching, AD, superintendent.
So first job, assistant coach,
Yes, sir.
and then head coach of the girls basketball.
First official job, I guess you could say, where they were like, hey, man, we need you.
Yeah.
Because when you volunteer, that's you.
Sure.
You know, and they just say, well, maybe. We'll see what you can do. But
Yeah.
when they actually asked me to be part of a program was an assistant coach to Byron Starks.
Got you.
When we took on, I think you were playing
Yeah.
back in the day, the little three-point shooter, man. 8th grader.
Shooter, not maker, but shooter.
No, you were making them. You were making them. You know, and then that transition to Errol Rogers. I spent 8 years with him, and when Byron got a college opportunity, then Errol moved over to the boys, and I got the head coaching job with the girls.
Gotcha.
We both got to win state titles.
That's cool.
It was rewarding. And then after that, I actually, you know, owning a business back in that time, went back to the business world, and then your dad reached out about being an AD.
There you go. So then athletic director, and now to superintendent.
Yes, sir.
So on a superintendent, I feel like we can guess what a head coach does. We can guess what an athletic director does, overseeing athletic. Superintendent, tell us, what does that look like on a daily basis? What does that entail?
Well, it's you're an umbrella of the entire entity, because you know you talk about coaches, you talk about teachers, you talk about principals. They all have their own world.
Okay.
And so you have all these people who are functioning within their capacity or their program or their world.
Sure.
Well, I'm in over the entirety of those worlds. And so I guess the main thing is to make sure the atmosphere is flowing, that our culture is strong,
Yeah.
our budget's intact, the health of the school. I think at the end of the day, I'm basically the physician, just making sure the pulse is
Yeah.
right,
That's
everything's
good.
in a good place.
It's a cool way to see it. What are you most excited about going into the year? We're only, maybe, I guess, a month and a half into the school year. What are you most excited for this school year?
You know, this school year, you know, last year was an acclimation process as the superintendent, where I was just acclimating to who we were.
Sure.
Got to put a little bit of spin on where I wanted to go with the direction and the vision of course, Pastor. But this year is more seeing the result of implementing some of those changes. Went to half days.
Yeah.
We implemented a few things that now we're going to start to see the difference in how it affected the school. So I think I'm interested in seeing the effect of those changes.
And if I ask a lot of these students, I promise you their most excited thing is these half days.
Oh, listen, don't limit to the student.
Yeah, so thank you, Mr. Devin. It was a pleasure getting to know you.
Appreciate you.
What a guy. Devin's only been here a couple of years, and testament to who he is, because staff, faculty, parents alike, they all love him.
Every week, we are looking for the best dressed LCA fan, the one that brings the most energy, the most spirit, the most excitement, something that separates you from all the other Knight fans. We look every week to pick one, and you'll be awarded some new LCA merch, maybe a $25 gift certificate to Academy Sports. And tonight, special thanks to our sponsor, Vital Integrators. So this past Friday night, Reagan set out to find on our season opener our fan favorite. But we didn't find one, we found multiple. That's right, our fan favorites. This week's winner, how about this, Amy? The entire LCA student section and cheerleaders. How about that? The entire LCA high school student section, I'm talking neon night, loud, proud, all night long. So on behalf of KnightCast and our sponsor, Paul Mancuso tonight, Amy, we can't just share one $25 gift certificate. That would be impossible. So what are we going to do for the 365 winners tonight?
365 ice cream sandwiches, 365 popsicles.
Come on.
All in the dining hall next Tuesday. That's right, compliments of KnightCast. You get an ice cream sandwich. You get an ice cream sandwich.
You scream.
Yes,
we all
yes,
scream for
you
ice
get a
cream.
popsicle.
All you can eat ice cream in the Dining Hall next Tuesday. Compliments of KnightCast. Tomorrow night, Knights will head to Ruston, taking on the Bearcats. Bearcats are 2-1 on the season. They're ranked number 11 in 5A. They also defeated Jesuit 2 weeks ago by a score of 35-7. So this is going to be probably one of the toughest tests to date on the season. They have incredible running back. They have one of the most electric receivers. He's a freshman. He made a play that shocked the world. It went to all through Twitter world last weekend by this freshman, probably going down as one of the best catches so far on the season. It'll probably last the year. And so the Knights are going to have a tall task on Friday night, tomorrow night. Knights were leading at the half last year, but the Bearcats secured back-to-back onside kicks to start the second half.
Yeah.
Scored on both of those possessions. Knights really couldn't catch up at the end. So the Knights will go on the road and try to avenge that loss on the season and bring back a win in Ruston tomorrow night.
Now, I tell you what will be very interesting real quick before we wrap up the show is that, you know, and this was really talked a lot about on Champions Row Friday night, that the things that most programs were used to seeing out of Juwan last year, he wasn't doing what he does this year, last year. I don't know how you prepare for that. Yes, you can try and put a spy on him, but even then, you got to have somebody that has his speed, and not only that, the wherewithal to be able to block his lanes, especially if he hits the corner. I just don't know who in high school is going to have that kind of capability. It'll be interesting. Ruston, easily one of the more impressive programs in the state. Can they do it? And I think that LCA definitely up for the task when they travel up to North Louisiana. And I'm going to tell you, it will be quite a game. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to KnightCast. Tomorrow, don't forget the game on the road in North Louisiana. If you are traveling to Ruston, please, please be safe on those roads heading up there. If you're staying behind, you're going to watch the game on Facebook, YouTube, however else you want to watch it live streaming on the web. Please do, and make sure that you retweet or re-X, whatever they say. Subscribe, share, text out to people letting them know that the game is on. Don't forget, Pastor Jay and company will be live on the air starting at 6:45. The game kicks at 7 p.m.
Want to thank our production crew, our camera guys, and all of the operators, stagehands, and our director, Jansen Miller. I want to thank my co-host, Amy Kane, for being here again tonight. Thank you, Vital Integrators, for your sponsorship. And don't forget, 365 ice cream sandwiches, popsicles. We're just going to make it a dessert fest. All you can eat dessert this coming Tuesday. And we'll see you all right here, episode 4 next Thursday. Good night, Night Nation. Safe travels tomorrow. We'll see you on Night Vision TV.